Your mindset is the root of your reality. If you can change your mindset, then you can change your life. Welcome, Master Your Vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. The mindset reboot for those ready for some calibration to their vibration. I'm your host, King Yes Indeed, your guide for this vibrational journey, here to help you conquer any mental blocks, fine tune your inner frequency, and navigate to your higher self. If you're ready to make your mind bright so you can vibe right, then you're in the right place. Let the journey begin. Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Welcome and welcome back, people, to another episode of Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. Thank you for all of the listeners who continue to listen all over the country, all over the world. You know, we got listeners from, of course, right here in Tucson. I got listeners in Phoenix. Shout out to Chester, PA, and Philly supporting. Shout out to my listeners in Africa. Shout out to my listeners in China. I got listeners in Korea, Vietnam, Canada, everywhere, man. Different states, Colorado, Georgia, everybody. Thank you so much. Continue supporting the show. And as always, we got a good one. I think they all good, right? I think we got a good one lined up for you today. As we continue, it's tax season. Remember, it's tax season. So as we continue, we're gonna start talking about, or continue talking about, tax. In the last show, we talked about the people tax. This show got another one lined up for you. We're gonna talk about the health tax and um, how your health and all the different aspects of your health can be very taxing on you. So we got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So as we continue, before we get into it, what I want you to do, I want you to go ahead and grab, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and grab your journals. And if you don't already have one, get yourself the official Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset journal. You can click the link in the description of this particular show. Go ahead and click on it. We'll get you one. Or if you already have one, just go ahead and grab it. Get ready to write some of this stuff down, people. We're going to master our mindset today. And so the other day I was talking to my son. I asked him how he felt the other day. It was like 6:15 in the morning. It was early. We've been up for almost, half hour, 45 minutes getting ready for work. We leave really early. And his first response was, "Man, I'm tired." I'm like, "Man, you just woke up." So he said, "I'm tired, man." So let me ask you, how often are you exhausted right after you wake up, right? How many of you feel like, you didn't sleep at all? You're still craving another hour or two, right? If this is you, then you might be suffering from being taxed, right? And once again, I'm not talking about that IRS tax. No, no, no. I'm calling this one the health tax. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. Every time, as we talking about sleep, every time you sacrifice sleep, every time you binge on sugar, every time that you ignore your stress, you are putting your body at risk and you're paying a price, right? And just like, your paycheck, you pay just like your paycheck, right? You pay a little bit here, a little bit of tax here, a little bit of tax here, and at the end of the year, now you owe a whole slew of taxes, all kinds. You pay dearly, right? You pay severely. And so, um, in the health tax, there ain't no refunds, right? Once you pay them taxes, it's done. And so this is what I'm talking about with the health tax, right? The hidden fees that you pay for neglecting your body, for neglecting your mind, for neglecting your sleep, and most importantly, for neglecting your peace. And so, um, I got some good news for you. Right, by the end of this episode, what we gonna be able to do, we gonna be able to do a couple of things. We gonna be able to spot it. We're gonna be able to spot when you're being taxed, or when you're getting taxed. We're gonna talk about what it's costing you, because that's important, what you're paying out. And then, of course, we're gonna talk about how to lower those taxes without completely changing your life, right? Without doing a complete overhaul. We're just gonna talk about some little things that you can do to adjust your taxes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. And first and foremost, we have to define what we are talking about. In the health tax, it is the physical, mental, and emotional cost that you pay when your daily choices work against your well-being. All right, if we break it down, if we break it out and break it down, right? What are you doing that causes your physical health to work against you, right? So what are some of those things, right? What are you doing that causes your mental health to work against you? What are you doing that causes your spiritual health and your environmental health to work against you? Your health tax is sort of like an adjustable or variable rate tax, right? It is not set in stone, right? Where it can skyrocket, when times are bad, and then the tax can actually decrease if you're doing well, right, as far as your health is concerned. And that's truly what we want. Everybody wants lower taxes. I don't know not one single person that wants to pay higher taxes than they need to, right? So the health tax shows up, and it shows up during these times. It shows up when your habits are locked in, but they might not be the greatest habits, right? If you have bad habits, if you have habits of smoking, drinking, heaven forbid you doing drugs, not exercising, just being a couch potato, not getting any, my brother John Bacon says body movement, not getting any body movement, that can be one way that the health tax shows up. Um, it can show up when you are running on convenience instead of intention, right? Convenience is, um, you're going to go get the food that's easiest to make, but not the healthiest. You're going to go get the food that's quickest to make, but has no nutritional value, right? You're going to do all of the things that are convenient and feel good, but you're not going to take any discipline to do the tough things, to do the hard things, because you know those are the things that are good for you. It can show up when you keep postponing necessities instead of prioritizing them. I just mentioned some of them. Sleep. You got to prioritize sleep. I did a show way back about how sleep is a tool, and it's the most underrated tool, I believe, in your mindset tool bag. Sleep. You need sleep. Exercise. Again, some sort of body movement. You don't have to go to the gym and push up the whole weight bench. You don't have to do that. You don't have to run 10 miles. No, you can walk. You can stretch. Go out in the yard and do some gardening. Just as long as you are getting out and doing something where you have some form of body movement, right? You got to eat real food. What I mean by real food, McDonald's is not real food, people. Despite what they might tell you and despite what you think, McDonald's is not real food. Processed food, too much salt, too much sugar. All right. And then, of course, we got to do some stress management. We got to find a way to relax. We got to find a way to decompress. We got to find a way to find some peace. We got to find a way to relieve ourselves of all the anxiety and all the stress, and everything that we carry throughout a normal day. We have to find an outlet. And those outlets can be in some of the things that I just named: exercising, eating the right foods. And of course, some people's favorites is sleep. We gotta sleep. We got to get some rest. How do you know you're paying tax? What are some of the things that are happening when you are paying tax, if you don't know? One could be that you're always sick or not feeling well. That's an easy one. Are you one who is always sick? Are you one who's always getting sick easily? Do you take forever to recover from sickness? And I'm not talking about my older folk who have, pre-existing condition or underlying conditions. I know as we get older, just naturally things take a little bit longer. But if you are always sick or always not feeling well, that could be a key sign, that you are paying a health tax. You always do things that are easy and not necessary. Right? You do the easiest thing, right? It's easy to come home and sit on the couch and not cook yourself a healthy meal. It's easy, again, to not go to the gym. It's easy to not cook the food or go buy the food that you know you should. It's easy to ignore people and ignore your mental health. It's easy to not go to the doctor. It's easy to not go to the dentist, right? It's easy to binge on sweets. It's easy to do those things, right? But they're not necessary to do. You don't sleep enough. You don't exercise enough. You don't eat the proper foods, and you are always stressed. Yes, you are paying a health tax. All right. And again, as I said, your faith is shaken, easily shaken, right? There's nothing to it. Somebody just, boop, and there you go. Easily shaken. You're off your square. You're off your faith. All right. And last show I did 7 signs. Like I said, I love reading the magazines. It's like seven things to make a man happy. All right, there's 7 ways that um, that you're a narcissist. Right, seven, whatever it is. They're funny to me. So I said, let me have a little fun with this and let me incorporate them into my show. So here are 7 signs you are paying health tax. I'm going to run through all 7 signs, 7 signals, 7 things. All right. So again, you wake up tired no matter how much you sleep. Bam. If that's you, that's a sign that you're paying a health tax. You just slept 12 hours. You wake up and you feel like you could sleep 12 more, probably paying a health tax. No doubt. Um, your mood depends on stimulants, sugar, coffee, candy, comfort food. Your mood depends on stimulants, sugar, candy, coffee, comfort foods, meaning you aren't in a good mood unless you have one of these things. If that is the case, yes, sadly to say, you are probably paying a health tax. You always feel like something is just not right, right? And I'm talking about internally, right? But you're not really sure what it is. Like you feel like you're getting a cold. You feel a little sluggish. You feel a little foggy, right? You feel a little under the weather. Can't really tell, but you know something isn't right internally. If that's you, probably, just probably, you're paying a health tax. You have no willpower to break bad habits, even though you know they are killing you. No willpower. You have no willpower to do it. You have no willpower to quit drinking. You have no willpower to quit smoking. You have no willpower to eat right. You have no willpower to exercise. Some of these things are the same. We're going to be talking about the same thing. You have no willpower to stop eating sugar. You have no willpower to follow doctor's orders. You have no willpower to take your vitamins. You have no willpower to, you have no willpower to go out, just go out and be in the sun. And so, again, if this is you, you just might be paying a health tax. You don't acknowledge or have any desire to build a relationship with your creator. And we talked about that. You have no, you either you don't acknowledge that there's a creator, someone who made you or is above you or beyond you. Either you don't acknowledge it or you don't have a desire, right? That could be a mental health tax that you are paying, a spiritual health tax that you are paying, if that is you. And I'm not, by all means, I'm not forcing anyone to go into a religion. Um, I'm just stating that on what I believe. And finally, number 7, you keep promising you'll start something and that day never comes, right? Procrastination. You keep promising, I'm going to start doing this, or I'm going to stop doing that, or I'm going to begin X, Y, and Z, and that day never comes. that lack of motivation, that lack of willpower, that lack of discipline could be related to some health issues, either mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of the above. And so those are the 7 signs that you could be paying a health tax. Now, this tax ain't free, people. This tax is not free. The tax is costing you a little bit more. So the health tax doesn't just cost you energy, it costs you patience. It can cost you productivity. It can cost you intimacy with the person that you love. It can cost you emotional regulation. It can cost you long-term freedom, right? Patience. Again, if you aren't emotionally, mentally regulated, um, your mood is all over the place. I already talked about you need a stimulant in order for you to be in a good mood. And so if you can't get your hands on that stimulant, you're not in a good mood. Productivity. If you're not being productive, or if you believe you're being productive and someone tells you you're not, that could cost you a lot of things. That could cost you money. That could cost you your job. That could cost you friendships. It can cost you business. It can cost you a lot of things. Intimacy. I don't even need to go into that one. If you have health issues, maybe some special parts of you not working. Maybe you're just not interested. Um, maybe there's just no confidence. But again, sometimes that tax is a little bit too much. Um, Creativity, right? I talked about earlier that mental fog, that productivity piece too. If you're in a mental fog, you can't be creative. If you're not feeling well, you have a tendency to not be creative. If you're not, if you are not all there and something's just a little bit off, you have a tendency to not be as creative as you desire. So again, that could cost you a whole lot of things. Your emotional regulation. That comes with a lot of the foods that we eat, right? The unhealthy foods, the sugar, of course, drinking, smoking, drugs. I mean, those are a given. And then that can lead to long-term loss of freedom, whether it's through health, where you're not as mobile as you need to be, whether it's through mental, where now you're having all these mental challenges, where you have social anxiety, you don't care to be around people, or you have low self-esteem, or it could just be a physical freedom, where if you're doing drugs and all of these things, now maybe you're doing some stuff where legally you are not free. All right. Now, here's the part that people ignore. Your health debt, your health tax, and your health debt. Your debt collects interest, right? It shows up as, if you aren't paying attention to your health, now you got to go to the doctor more, right? You got more doctor's visits, you got more prescriptions, you got more co-pays, you got more stress, you got more stuff to worry about. Some people got those pill boxes, and 7 days a week, it's like a thing. You just putting all your pills in there from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is the pill regimen that you got to take, because there's no way you're going to remember to take all of those, right? So you go on more visits, you got more medication, more bouts of anxiety, depression, and PTSD from a military folk. I mean, not just military folk, but anybody who's been through some form of trauma, right? You could have PTSD from a car accident. You could have PTSD from being assaulted, being in a being on a plane. You got PTSD from your childhood growing up. It can come from just about anywhere. So you have more bouts of that. You actually have more pain, but that pain is a mug, because if you're anything like me, um, once you start taking more medication, that medication seems to not work as well, right? It seems that I'm at 800 whatever, and then now I'm at 12, and now I'm at 16, and 16 ain't doing nothing. And there's a term for that. I think it's something about metabolism, right? Where it just seems like, the pills aren't working, but you may get to that point, right? And then you have more time not spent doing what you desire to do. So while you're dealing with all of these things, you're paying all this health tax. Now your health gets you into a debt, and your debt is more doctor's visits, more medication, right? More anxiety, more depression, more pain, more emotional fits. And then this leads to you not doing what you desire to do, right? And the truth is, you can either pay now with discipline, or you can pay later with regret, right? Yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to do to take care of our health, but those things should start at an early age, right? Not, when we learned 38, 40, 45, getting ready to cross over to 50. I mean, it's great that you get there, but if we're doing these things at 15, 20, 25, and into our 30s, now that's going to set us up for longevity well into our hopefully 80s and 90s. And hopefully some of us, more of us, start hitting that 100 marker. But, we know all too well about, some of our family members struggling with things where if they would have just ate differently or just stopped one bad habit that they were doing, they might have lived a little bit longer. So not every health issue is our fault, right? And so not every solution needs to be extreme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it out and try to do it in the three different types of taxes. And obviously, you guys know one is the diet tax, right? You're not eating enough, or you're eating too much, right? Or you're not eating the right things. Either you're not eating enough, you're eating too much, or you're not eating the right things. That's one, right? You could be eating too late at night. Right? We can't eat so late at night where we don't give our body time to adjust, and time, not to adjust, but time to digest. We should be eating, and I think on average, I believe it's at least 4 hours before we go to bed. That actually reduces things like acid reflux, where if your body's still trying to digest and you lay down, now you on your back or on your side, that food can't, normally it's harder to go down sideways. So, give your body about 4 hours, to digest. Each person's body is different, and your diet needs to be tailored to you. Yes, we can cross over, we can be similar, but they may not necessarily need to eat exactly what I'm eating. All right, and find out what is going to work for you with the capacity that you have, right? And go with that. Again, you don't have 9 times out of 10, you don't have a personal trainer. 9 times out of 10, you don't have a personal chef. Right. So what you are doing is basically willpower. Right. You have to cook, you have to go shopping, you got to cook and prep the food, and then you got to find time to exercise. If you got kids, you got to deal with them. If you got a spouse, you got to deal with them. If you run in a business, you got to deal with them. If you got pets, you got to deal with them. And I didn't say anything about you having some time to yourself to work out or to do all of these other things. All right. So again, find out what you can do with the capacity that you have, and then go from there. Yes, indeed. Um, it's not a marathon, people. Results do not come overnight. Um, and results don't all come in the same way, right? Results for you might not be weight loss, even though that might be your goal. It might just be the fact that you feel better and that you're actually healthy and that your blood work is showing up better. It could be that. It could be that you have reversed something that you didn't even know you had, right? Many of us are close to being diabetic, but if we change our diet and start eating right, maybe those numbers come back down. Maybe you were on the verge of, your PSA numbers creeping up. But again, with the food that you ate, maybe that came back down. All right. It's not always going to show up in the scale. So if you are solely looking at the scale to determine if you are healthy, you are doing yourself a big disservice. Results are not always physical. They don't always show physically. You're not going to lose the waist. You might not lose the thighs. You might not, lose the stomach or whatever. But again, if you go get that blood work check, might be a-okay for where you at. All right. Next tax, the sleep tax. Neglecting your sleep can and does affect so many other areas of your health. Most specifically, it affects anxiety and depression, right? This can be linked to a whole bunch of other things. We talking about memory loss, we talking about cognitive functions. Um, in other words, basically you're not going to be functioning at your highest level, right? You're gonna have trouble recalling things. You're not going to be performing at maximum level. You're going again that fog that you're going to be in. Your immune system's going to be impacted, which means you're not going. It's going to make it harder for your body to fight off illness, sickness, something that would normally, would just something that you wouldn't normally even recognize. Now your body's going to struggle to deal with that. Not getting proper rest can have a negative impact on your hormones that regulate your hunger levels. This can actually lead to you overeating or eating too much or give you the desire to eat improperly. Yes, sleep. All this from not getting enough sleep can lead to these things. Many of us, when we don't sleep, we're grumpy, we're foggy, we're not in the greatest mood when we wake up. And so it might take us a little bit longer. Again, this affects driving. You can talk about road rage. How many people are at first thing in the morning, you running a little bit late and somebody's driving crazy. Right now you dealing with that. Dropping off the kids is too loud, they're making too much noise, they driving you nuts. You get to the school's crowded, other parents are trying to rush and get to work. All this because you did not get enough sleep. So that's sleep tax. Big one is the stress tax, people. The stress tax. How many of you are suffering from this one? And you know you are suffering with this one, and yet you still have the same issue going on for weeks, for months, sadly, sometimes even years. This one is killing us silently, people, if we got too much stress. That is where hypertension, high blood pressure, your mind and your body are not equipped to handle stress continually, day after day, week after week, over long periods of time. Your mind and your body are just getting tired, right? You are simply just getting tired of dealing with it. And the longer it goes on, the more it's prolonged, the worse and worse it gets, right? That just because you don't feel stress, just because you can't feel it in a certain way doesn't mean it's not there. All right. Symptoms. It can be something as simple as a headache out of nowhere. It can be chest pains. It can be stomach issues. It can be all of a sudden you're fatigued or super tired and you can't figure out why. And usually, the first place some of these signs of stress shows up is in your blood pressure. That is typically the first sign of stress. Stress can come from just about anywhere: work, family, relationships, um, kids, health issues, financial issues, spiritual issues we talked about. Stress can come from anywhere. And this is something that if we don't change it, the impact over time can have catastrophic effects. Right now, talking about changing, how do we lower the tax? All right. So I'm going to give you some real simple, hopefully simple and practical ways to start lowering this overall health tax that we have. First and foremost, start with a grand rising. And a lot of times I'll say, and people say to me, grand rising, right? Like good morning, right? Many people believe how you start has a huge bearing on how you finish, right? And I think this is true, right? I will say that a good start definitely doesn't hurt, how you finish. It can be a good lead into how you finish. Start simply with a glass of water. All right, preferably lukewarm. The cold water typically will give a shock to your body, although I do like an ice cold glass of something to drink. But in the morning, after you wake up, start with a lukewarm glass of water. As you prepare to break your fast or have break fast, after about 6 to 12 hours, start off with some water. That's a very simple one. Go outside, get some sunlight, right? Most of us are vitamin D deficient. And one easy, simple way to get that is to get outside, get into the sun, allow your body to absorb some of those sun rays so we can transform some of those sun rays into energy. All right, take some time to sit in silence, meditate, peacefully. Um, just take a few moments to yourself to begin your busy day. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. As soon as you wake up, many of us want to reach for that phone. Many of us we want to just roll out the bed and just get going. Many of us, oh, go brush your, yeah, we want to brush your teeth. Sit up on the edge of your bed or down on the floor, or many of us, if you got a closet that you go into or wherever it is, a quiet space, and just sit and just be for 5 or 10 minutes if you can. Just, allow your body to wake up. Listen, to what God is telling you. Listen to what the universe is giving you. Pull in some of that positive energy. Think good thoughts. Think about how your day is going. Think about the things that you want to accomplish, and then move on from there. Get some movement, people. Move. While you are sitting there in silence, you can stretch. If you are really a morning person and you really want to get your heart rate going, go for a walk or a jog. You can go for a run too. Sometimes I'll do that in the morning. Well, I used to like doing it in the morning when I was in the military. Don't do it much now, but if I get the chance to start working, I think in the mornings I'm just gonna go and get my body physically ready to tackle the day. Right, push-ups, sit-ups, all that. Always invest in yourself first before you invest any time and energy into anything or anyone else. Always invest in yourself first before you invest any other time into anything or anyone else. It's got to be you. All right. Number two, stop eating like you're in survival mode. All right. Don't just eat when you're running on empty. Right. This is a surefire way to guarantee that we are not going to eat the right thing. All right. First and foremost, add some color to that diet. Add some leafy greens, add some vegetables, um, add, some of them peppers, um, anything that you can do to get some color in it. And vegetables is probably the easiest and simplest way to get it. Fruits also, easy, simple way to get some color and some real food. I said that earlier, real food into your diet. Meat, try to stay away from the red meat. All right, not necessarily healthy for you. It's packed with protein. I would kind of stay away from that. Right, chicken, not too bad. I love me some fried chicken. Right, but don't overdo it. Fish is my go-to. I love salmon, but also we got to be careful about the type of fish. Right, a lot of this fish we find it not farm raised. If you can get wild caught, that's fine. But remember, a lot of the fish, and if you eat seafood, can have a lot of mercury in it. So you got to be mindful about that. And fast food, two problems: very unhealthy, very expensive. So that's a double whammy. You tapping in, to your health and your money. So stay away from those. So another way to lower your health tax is to manage your stress management. Manage your stress management. What is your outlet? What is the way you decompress? Find out why you even need to decompress. Why are your days so hard? Why are things so difficult? Why do you feel overwhelmed, right? What are your triggers? Are you able to feel yourself getting closer to being stressed out, to being worked up, right? Parents back in the day, they were like, you about to get on my last good nerve. All right. Heaven forbid you get on one of their bad nerves. But they let you know, or at least I'd assume that they want that means that you getting closer to them about to snap off on you. So don't get on their last good nerve, and definitely don't get on their first bad one. Stress makes everything worse. Digestion, cravings, moods, inflammation. Stress is no good for anything. So we need to manage our stress management. Create that time for you and only you. Create time for you and only you. And if you aren't used to doing that, what it can feel like is it can feel like you're being lazy, right? Because you're so used to doing something and so used to being quote unquote productive and so used to running around and you're so used to somebody needing you to do something that when you have time to sit and be and chill and relax or sleep or take a nap or whatever, now you feel guilty or now you feel lazy. So that's one of the problems where If this isn't a normal thing, right, you may struggle with it, right? It's going to feel like selfishness sometimes, right? Like you are being selfish to everyone else because you are taking a moment for yourself. All right. It can sometimes even feel like isolation. Like, no, just I'm gonna go over here. Let me just have 20 minutes to myself. And now you might feel like you're isolating. So again, if we don't ensure that we are carving out time to be with ourselves, by ourselves, do this for ourselves, it can feel like that. It can feel selfish. It can feel like isolation, and it can feel like we're being lazy. All right. Now I got a challenge for y'all. Just like in the last show, we had a challenge, right? This is the health tax audit. I need you to write down these 5 basic things. All right. Sleep, water, eating good, movement or exercise, and managing stress. I need you to write down those 5 things: sleep, water, eating good, movement, exercise, managing stress. All right. Now, for each one, I need you to give each one a rating of either 0, 1, or 2. 0, obviously, not good. 1 is average. 2 is you're doing okay. So if you get plenty of sleep, put a 2. If you don't get no sleep, put a 0. If you eat good, put 2. If you eat okay, put a 1. If you're managing your stress, put 2. If you need a little help, put 1. If you have no idea about your stress, put 0. Now, I want you to pick the worst one and focus on that one to get that, to raise that score by 1 or 2 points, or as many points as you can. Right? If you are having trouble sleeping, set a sleep goal. Right? I said this before, again, in one of my other shows. Have a wind down time. All right, have a night routine where you turn the TV off. Have a night routine where you might be listening to the radio. Have a night routine where you might be reading a book. Have a night routine where you do something to help you wind down. If you're not drinking enough water, they got apps on your phone where it reminds you to drink water. My wife has one and it works beautifully. Right? Eating good. Eating good. That might just be a commitment thing. That's difficult, especially if you have a large family, because you don't want to have to cook 2 or 3 different meals. So you want everybody to eat the same thing. So that's a little bit more challenging, but you can work on it. Meal prepping is huge for that. All right. So try it out. Kings, let's get into some reflection prompts and some affirmations before we get on out of here. And if you don't already have your journal, again, go ahead and grab your journal. And if by chance you don't have one, go ahead and you can order your copy of the Master Your Mindset, the 7 Dimensions of Mindset Journal. Click the link in the description of this show. Go ahead and grab you one and you'll be good to go. But if you already have it, let's go ahead and write some of these things down. Reflection prompt number 1. What do I keep calling normal that's actually a warning sign? What are you calling normal that's actually a warning sign? Not sleeping, are you calling that normal? Eating too much sugar, are you calling that normal? Smoking too much, is that your normal? Being stressed out about everything, is that normal to you? That should be a warning sign. Those things should be a warning sign. What do I keep calling normal that should actually be a warning sign? All right. And if you don't know, ask people around you. They'll tell you, hopefully. If you got the right people, they should tell you. Again, what do I keep calling normal that should actually be a warning sign? Reflection prompt number 2. If my body could write me a note today, what would it say? Would it say relax? Would it say go to sleep? Would it say be cool? Would it say pray? Would it say meditate? Would it say eat a salad? Would it say go run or walk? Would it say go sit in silence? What would that note say? If my body could write me a note today, what would it say? Would it say treat me better? Would it say pay me some mind? Would it say don't ignore me? Would it say I'm the only one that you have? What would that note say? If my body could write me a note, what would it say? Reflection prompt number 3. What does my body need more of? Does it need more rest? Does it need more exercise? Does it need more support? Does it need more fuel, proper food? Does it need to be still? Does it need to stretch? Does it need better care? Does it need a massage? Right? What does my body need more of? And it's typically more of what you are not currently giving it. Does it need some form of more attention in some way, shape, or form? Does it need medical attention? Does it need spiritual attention? Does it need mental or physical attention? What does my body need more of? Yes, indeed. Kings, let's go ahead and move into our daily affirmations. And this is affirmation number 1. I am allowed to slow down in the name of longevity. Slow down in the name of longevity, meaning you don't have to overdo it. You don't have to wear yourself out. When I worked at TP, those guys, they were all about let the machine do the work. We work smarter, not harder. They were too old to be doing all that, man. Sometimes we are a little bit too old to be doing too much. So you are allowed to slow down for longevity's sake. I am allowed to slow down in the name of longevity. We want to be here for our spouse. We want to be here for our kids. We want to be here for our grandkids, and hope and pray your great grandkids, even your great greats. All right. I am allowed to slow down in the name of longevity. Yes, indeed. I won't negotiate with poor habits that drain me. We gonna treat poor habits like terrorists, and we all know we do not negotiate with terrorists. So we are not negotiating with poor habits. And what does that mean? It means that don't compromise, right? Don't say I'll do this. I'll stop doing this, but only if this happens, right? I'll give up this, but I'm gonna trade it for this. We're not. This is not a negotiation, people. It is a takeover. You got to take it over, right? I won't negotiate with poor habits that drain me, especially the ones that take away from you. Why are we negotiating with bad habits that only have a negative impact anyway? All right, we should be firing them. We should be getting rid of them. We should be overthrowing them. We should be doing something. All right. I won't negotiate with poor habits that drain me. No, no, no. Affirmation number 3, I lower the health tax every time I choose myself. Listen, anytime you choose yourself over drinking, anytime you choose yourself over smoking, anytime you choose yourself over a lack of rest, anytime that you choose yourself over mental stress, anytime that you are choosing yourself, that's a good thing. And I think that needs to be a norm, right? So often, we are so busy being thoughtful and caring to others, especially as it relates to our health, that we tend to grind ourselves into the ground. We burn ourselves out trying to do all these things that we can see in other people, all the while we are slowly, slowly withering away. So we got to lower the health tax every time we choose ourselves. I lower my health tax every time that I choose myself. Yes, indeed. Kings, my final thought for today is this. You don't have to do all these things perfectly to reduce your health tax. You don't. You just have to become consistent and intentional. Consistency and intentionality, because every small choice is a vote, right? Either we're voting to reduce taxes or we're voting to increase them. And I don't know about you, but I'm always going to vote to lower taxes, right? So pay attention. Pay attention to what your body's telling you. Pay attention to what your mind is telling you. Pay attention to what your energy and your spirit are telling you, right? Lower the health tax now so we don't have to pay it later. We have to lower it now so that we don't have to pay it later, right? So, what I want you to do, man, is if this episode has helped you out, in the comments, I need you to write lower the tax, or I'm lowering my tax, or no taxes, whatever it is. I need you to share this with somebody that you think is beneficial. I need you to share it with somebody whom you know needs to lower their health tax. Don't forget, please, to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to follow on Facebook. There's Instagram. There's also TikTok. All right, Kings. Thank you all for joining me on this episode of Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. It's tax season, people. It is tax season. We talking about lowering all kind of taxes, but in this show, we talked about lowering the health tax. Now, one more thing I need you to do before you get up on out of here, and you know what it is. Kings, I need you to check your vibe, because when your mind is bright, then you know we can vibe right. Yes, indeed. People, if this podcast has shifted your mindset or moved you to change your vibe, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, or someone that you believe can vibe in a new way. Leave me a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at King Yes Indeed. Also, if you are interested in vibe, coaching, consultation, please email me at kingyesindeed@gmail.com. Let's find more personally tailored approach to your vibe. Yeah, I get one-on-one coaching. I can do group coaching through mind or vibe or mindset coaching classes. Until next time, people, check your vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. Yes, indeed.